Let this sink in for just a moment. The presumptive Republican nominee and the former president of the United States just met with probation officers ahead of his sentencing, which happens to be 1 month from tomorrow here in New York. Now, these pre-sentencing interviews are routine procedures for convicted felons, but it's safe to say there is nothing ordinary about this interview or this convicted felon. Here's what we do know as of 9 p.m. here tonight. It was around 3:30 this afternoon that Donald Trump met virtually from his Mar-a-Lago club down in South Florida with officials here in New York. Our sources say that he answered all the questions that were asked of him. CNN's John Miller was told that Trump was polite, respectful, and accommodating to the probation officers who conducted this interview, and the whole thing was over in just under half an hour. It is quite the call, but adding to the unusual nature of this whole thing, we're told that the commissioner of New York's probation department was present for it, along with the general counsel and the officer who's assigned to the case. And Trump, as we know, with the permission of the judge here, Juan Merchan, was joined by his lead attorney, Todd Blanche, who argued this case. Now, typically, a convicted defendant would meet with a probation officer without their attorney there, but this was different here, like many of the dynamics here. And ultimately, it is the probation department that will submit a report based in part on today's interview to the judge here, who, of course, will then ultimately decide what Trump's punishment will be. I'm joined tonight by Trump biographer, CNN political analyst, and New York Times senior political correspondent Maggie Haberman. Maggie, I mean, it's a required step before his sentencing, but just the aspect that he is undergoing this is just remarkable in and of itself.
Everything about this is remarkable, and I do think that we lose sight of it, especially those of us who were in that courtroom, as you and I were. This is a former president who was trying to understand that his supporters think that this was not a case that should have been brought. They say that all the time. I think his lawyers feel this way too. But nonetheless, he was convicted, and it took less than 2 days. And now we are hurtling toward a Republican National Convention where he is going to be nominated for a third time as the party's nominee. And he will have just been sentenced a few days earlier on July 11th. And so I don't think we can overstate how remarkable this is. I think where it stops feeling remarkable is that voters don't seem particularly interested in it. And so, you know, this is history. This is something we have never experienced before. Everything you just described is not the usual procedure in this kind of a sentencing report interview, but this is not typical, as you said.
Yeah, for all the talk of how Trump is treated, I mean, he does get special treatment in some of these circumstances. And you talked about how the sentencing is on a Thursday. Mm-hmm. The convention starts that Monday. Based on what you've heard, you know, has it set in for Donald Trump himself, though, that this is happening, that he is having to answer these kinds of questions to probation officers? It
has, and I actually don't think that the conviction has left his mind much, even though he's, I think, the best compartmentalizer many of us have ever seen on the political stage. I think he is well aware of what he is carrying over the next 4 weeks.
You know, the situation where most of them would try to get a lesser sentence in these kind of interviews, or when they go before the judge, Trump will have an opportunity to speak, to offer, to be contrite. But it doesn't seem like he's going, I mean, he hasn't been making that argument based on what he's been saying on Truth Social or at rallies or in interviews about this case. And we do know he's also planning on appealing it right after that sentencing happens. So, I mean, how does he balance the two of those?
So my assumption, and we don't know specifically what he said in this interview, it was pretty short today. I don't know what the average length of those are, but 30 minutes is not a long time on its own. My assumption is that he was actually not contrite, but certainly more subdued in that interview than what we have seen on Truth Social, what we saw outside of the courtroom in the hallways at the courthouse, what we have seen him do at rallies, what we've seen him do in interviews. It will be very hard for him to then suddenly argue that that's all just politics, or he didn't mean it, or what have you. I mean, remember, he's going to be sentenced by a judge who cited him for violating a gag order several times, and at one point said to him, the last thing I want to have to do is put you in jail, but made clear that that was on the table if he kept doing it. So I don't know what this ends up looking like. I don't see a world where Trump stands up and says, I'm really sorry, because Trump still denies anything happened.
Especially to this judge of all people, who he rails against repeatedly, which is, you make a really good point there, that how he acts inside the courtroom, or you know, based on what John Miller heard about how he was in this interview, is quite different than how he talks about it at rallies, on TV, in front of the mics.
As you and I know well from covering him for a long time, he can be very different depending on what crowd he is playing to. And when he knows that he is playing to the probation commissioner and his probation officer, the person assigned to the case, I am expecting that he was slightly more subdued. Now, do I think that that means that he said, you know, you're right, I feel terrible about all of this? No, I find that very unlikely. But I doubt that it was sort of, you know, the spoken version of the all caps Truth Social posts.
And part of this process is family members, friends can submit letters to the court on the defendants, the felon's behalf. Do you think that'll happen in this situation?
I actually do think that there are a lot of people who are potentially going to write testimonials. We'll see if that happens. But, you know, we certainly saw that he and his aides were getting people to attend the trial. Normally when people do that, it's so that the jurors can see sympathetic people around the person. In Trump's case, it was so Trump could roll heavy with elected officials for the most part. But I could see efforts by his family members, by friends. You know, he went to court a couple of times with Steve Witkoff, one of his oldest friends, who's a real estate investor from New York. I could see people like that sending in notes to the judge.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I also wonder, you know, the VP contenders who also started showing up, the Doug Burgums, the J.D. Vances, I mean, making very clear. It's also a question of whether they would say something on his behalf or if they were just doing it on television and interviews.
My assumption is that they are much likelier to do it to the cameras than they are to the judge because they're playing to a different audience than the judge. They're playing to Trump.
CNN Senior's legal analyst Elie Honig is also here. Elie, you know, when we look at this, how much impact does what happened today in this whole pre-sentencing report that's going to go to the judge, how much impact does that have on the actual sentence itself?
These reports matter. They're not binding on the judge, but they absolutely matter because this is the first time you hear from some sort of neutral third party trusted by the courts, the probation department. And I promise you, whichever side likes the recommendation will say, look, the probation department is with us. They're on our side. And just to give you a sense of how closely held this information is, when we would get these pre-sentence reports sent to us as prosecutors, it would come in two emails. First, an encrypted email that you couldn't open unless you had the code, and then a second email giving us the password to open it. So that's how sort of confidential this information is kept. It's seen as is proprietary, it's private information, it's personal information, so it's very closely guarded by the courts.
Does it ever make a difference to the prosecution of what they're going to ask the judge for in terms of sentencing when they look at a report like this?
For sure, because let's put ourselves in Alvin Bragg's position here for a second. This is going to be a really close call at sentencing. What does Alvin Bragg ask for? I think he's likely to ask for some term of imprisonment. I think it's hard for him to bring a case like this to get 34 for 34 convictions and then say we're fine with probation. And if probation, the probation department itself has come in first and said we recommend prison, it's much easier as the DA to say we agree with them. Yes, do that.
There's a lot of information in this pre-sentencing report that actually could pertain to his other legal issues that he's dealing with, from the civil ones here in New York, but also the other criminal cases. Could that complicate anything? I mean, is that why Todd Blanche attended this today when normally an attorney would not be present for it?
Has to be. If I had a client who had 3 other pending indictments and several civil verdicts in the process of appeal, I would absolutely insist on being there because what he says can be used against him in certain circumstances. Another thing to keep your eye on here is now that Trump's been convicted, once he's sentenced in New York, that could actually bump up his punishment if he's convicted in the other cases. Because those cases, what you do is you calculate a person's criminal history. Now he has a criminal history.
You're agreeing, Maggie. I mean, what impact do you think it could have?
I think it could have all of the impacts that Elie just described. I also think that it could end up being, and I'm not sure that this will happen, but because it hasn't happened yet, but it could end up being a factor in whether prosecutors in any of the other cases, and Elie, correct me if I'm wrong, if they want to suggest that this impacts his release conditions on those indictments. Now, again, I don't think that's likely, but I do think that we have seen Jack Smith raised concerns about his attacks on the FBI. Judge Cannon, in that case, the Mar-a-Lago documents case, did not agree with them. It's just something, it's more grist that prosecutors can point to.
Well, and if there's not jail as a result of this, I mean, even if he's checking with a probation officer, that would be pretty remarkable in the home stretch of the presidential campaign.
Yeah, to have a curfew, I mean, sometimes, and to have a geographic restriction. I mean, the conditions of probation can differ quite a bit, but I do want to make this point. Even if Judge Merchan sentences Trump to prison, and I think there's a decent chance he does, that sentence will almost certainly not be imposed until after appeal.
I assume that he is going to defer the sentence until after, while the appeal is ongoing and set it aside. And then that likely gets us till after the election.
And of course, we know Trump is going to appeal this. Elie Honig, Maggie Haberman, great to have you both to start off the show tonight.